Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone is doing okay, especially my squaddies in the Los Angeles area. There are, let me just actually find, there was a post that I saw. I'm going to share this with you all. And this is actually a link to, oh, just give me a sec. Who was it? One of my friends that shared this. It was like a list of actual. Ah, here we go. Yeah, how to actually help the victims of the LA fires. I'm going to share this link with you. And it just has like lots of information. If you want to donate to some places or you want to volunteer at some places, some reputable places that you can do that. Just give me one sec. Okay, so that isn't that links to a Instagram post. Okay. Okay, so let's see who's in the chat. Church Nelly, yeah, rest in peace, Guy. Do you know something? I feel like Guy went through so many health complications, and it's like he knew at every single corner that he still had to be there for Meghan. Somebody actually wrote this. I'm gonna put it up. He knew that he had to be here, and he's gone sadly. But I think he's left her in the most peaceful and joyous state that she's been in since she married into that unroyal mafia. So it was like, I've left you in peace. I've been there for you, and now was just my time to go. I mean, he was an old dog, strong one too. Um, hey Vera, just got home from the hospital. Praying for you, dear. I hope your treatments are going well. 2025 will be the year of health and abundance for sure. I feel it. Um, Hey Connie, hey Simone, hey Paulette, hey Carol, hey Tamika, hey Legs. You said, did you see the comparison of Inside Out and Ping Pong? What? What are you even referring to? What? The comparison of Inside Out and Ping Pong? What is that? I am genuinely so confused, Legs. What does that mean? I feel like you're talking about something very obvious, and my brain is just logged off. I have no idea what that means. Please explain. Um, but yeah, let's get to it. First of all, yeah, my absolute thoughts, prayers, and condolences to just people who have lost their homes, lost everything. I mean, this is absolutely just devastating pictures, and I can't imagine what's the absolute terror going on the ground. Um, Not just the way this blaze has gone through LA, but also the aftermath. Now you've got the air must be so toxic and so cancerous. So if you survive the flames, there's no way not going to be affected by the air. For people who with chronic illnesses, smoke inhalation illnesses, the Telegraph, of course, could they just could not focus on the victims of this tragic incident. They had to find a way to bring Harry and Meghan into this. Mind you, Harry and Meghan, I think they're almost like an hour plus away from this anyway. They're way, way away from this. For those of you who are asking, I believe their home is okay, but no one other than the people affected should even be a focus for this. Fishing for clicks, even in a situation like this. And this is the Telegraph, not even the Sun or the Daily Fail. They've all become the same now. Um, Miss Gina Zapanta, who is a friend of Miss Doria's, she actually posted this. Please help us spread the word to anyone evacuated from Los Angeles fires who need a place to stay. We have reserved a large block of rooms at a hotel in Sherman Oaks through the weekend. Also, if you need a home base, we have tons of space at our offices, Zala Lawyers and Older Law. So I think her husband works in law as well. Also in Sherman Oaks and Montebello with electricity, internet, space to store valuable items. We are here to help anyone. Please stay safe. We love our city. So if you see know anyone who needs help in the LA area, there are plenty of people who are opening up spaces. I believe Airbnb also has a program right now where they're trying to house people. So it's absolutely devastating, but there is help available. Boy, situations like this where people really come out for each other. It shouldn't take situations like this, but um, yeah, what can you say? You just have to pray for people and help the best you can, however you can. Please donate, please volunteer. You know, and for sure, like if you own a business or if you have a space and you can open it up for people, I'm sure Harry, Meghan, and Archwell, and all the people in that community are trying their best. Um, okay, with that, we'll move back on to royal news. Lemonada, which is the podcasting company that Archetypes moved to after leaving Spotify, they posted this new year, new episodes. And they have a montage of all of their podcasts, and one of the ones that they have up there is Archetypes. So can we expect an Archetypes season 2? I'm gonna say we probably will get one. I wouldn't have expected them to just do one, so I believe we'll get an Archetype season 2. If not an Archetype season 2, maybe just a whole completely different podcast and a theme entirely. But I'm so sure that we will get something else in the audio space from Harry and Meghan. I mean, they didn't name it Archwell Audio for no darn reason. So something else to look forward to after the cooking show, and of course, Invictus. And so we've got a high probability that we'll get another podcast. We've got Invictus. High probability that there will be more international tours, maybe 2 or 3. We had 2 last year, so at least 2 guaranteed, I think, maybe 3. That might be, I don't know, 3 tours. Along with everything else they're doing, maybe a little bit too much with kids. I would say 2 tours. Um, so we've got that guaranteed and Aro. So I mean, even just that alone, and I'm sure there will be more. That is a lot for 1 year, right? So we've got a lot to look forward to. Now, on to the haters getting their karma news. I said I wouldn't talk about them unless it's to laugh and to brag. Meghan, my father, McCain. She tried to suggest that because of a terrorist attack, Meghan was being thoughtless for and insensitive for releasing the trailer for her cooking show, which has been in the works for well over a year. So weaponizing a terrorist attack and the death of others to attack another woman who hasn't done or said anything to you. And Meghan, my father, McCain, wants to call Meghan self-made millionaire before she married into the royal family out of touch, and wants to tell her that she should stop her show. Ridiculous. I did a bit of digging on Meghan, my father, McCain, because I really didn't know a lot about her other than who her father is. So the mother is actually the daughter of a beer tycoon. So that side of the family, that's where their money came from. So Meghan grew up. Meghan, my father, McCain, grew up very wealthy. She has no idea what it is to be working class. I doubt this lady has really ever worked hard a day in her life. She's had a lot handed to her. She is your typical rich um, dynasty, political family, nepo baby. She's literally a nepo baby. Um, and not that it's anyone's fault if you come from a rich family, but when you want to lash out at others and say that they're insensitive, other people who are self-made, when you want to act so selfish and bratty when you've had everything handed to you, girl, please. Anyway, she came out and attacked Meghan. She got dragged all over these internet streets, and she then posted this: I've decided to limit who can reply to my tweets to verified accounts because, quite frankly, too many of you are emotionally unstable and have been messaging me. You're mad at my breast mass. Sorry, you're mad my breast mass wasn't cancerous because I criticized Meghan Markle's cooking teaser. New year, new rules. How about you make one of your rules to keep other people who haven't said or done anything to you out of your mouth, Meghan, my father McCain? How about that? And she, I mean, I don't know because I didn't read out the whole post. I couldn't be bothered to, but the original post that she wrote about Meghan, it was a whole darn essay. She was so triggered by the trailer of a cooking show that she could have ignored. Everybody who doesn't like Meghan could ignore the show. Just don't watch it. But you know she's going to be watching it. Meghan McCain's going to be watching it. Meghan Kelly's going to be watching it. Candace Owens is going to. They're all going to be watching it, getting cake and chicken recipes because they have an idea in their heads of what they are. And they look at Duchess Meghan and they feel that she shouldn't have access to those spaces and that she actually does everything that they think that they are, but they really are not 10 times better than them. So you know for sure they are going to be all the haters are going to be watching and getting tips and tricks because they think their level of mediocre is the greatest. And Meghan is like a mirror has been put up to their faces, and now they realize actually we're not. You never were. And I did some more digging into Meghan, my father McCain's uh, home life, and it turns out the man that she is married to, she is his third wife. Third wife. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. And this man is on his third wife. He's the problem. And if you get with a man like that, you've got to be a problem too. This is why Meghan, my father McCain is so mad. Because if she was put into a lineup with Duchess Meghan, she wouldn't be the first pick. She'd be the third. He didn't make it work with the other two, and then here he is with you. I wouldn't be surprised if that marriage was in trouble because no woman who is happy in her home comes out swinging the way that Meghan McCain did at our Duchess. And quite frankly, her husband should just be embarrassed. I mean, he's probably a hater too, but he should be embarrassed that your wife is out here acting like this. Please. All right, I'll get to comments and we'll get on to the next thing. Hi, if you're just joining us, please do hit that thumbs up button. Okay, Lex, you said Bing Bong is the inside out character that is imaginary. As the kid aged, he wanted her joy to continue, but he faded away. She doesn't need her imaginary friend as she got older. Oh, was that in reference to Meghan and Guy? Yeah, I was just like Bing Bong. Who's yeah, I didn't watch Inside Out. Heard it was a great movie though. Oh, Vera, you said and not treatment yet, but countless exams of many kinds to determine what to do. Or, I hope you can get through whatever this is as quickly as possible. Vera, very much. Everybody, please send your prayers to Vera. Oh, health is wealth, and you realize it the more older you get. It's really And I feel sorry for you all in the States because you just have to pay so much. Mm. Very you said that I just read that Harry and Meghan are donating to help. I'm sure they are. I'm sure, absolutely sure that they are doing the most. Um, Let me just search. Did that just come up now? Let's, um, oh they've released a statement. No wait, hang on a sec. Sorry, I didn't actually catch this. It's on. Okay, so it must be on their Sussex.com site. Okay, maybe I can read that at the end because I didn't manage to get that on the screen. Thank you very much, Vera, for highlighting that because I actually hadn't seen it yet. Um, and Jelena, you said, and that was definitely a read. Meghan McCain is more than deserving. I've never ever heard of her doing a thing to help others. Plus, she's very pro pew pew, doesn't care about reform. Yeah, I mean, she weaponized a terrorist attack to throw jabs at another woman. She needs to think about why she's so triggered by Meghan the Duchess. Because who is she other than Meghan, my father, McCain? Rochelle, Meghan McCain's mother came with money. Her dad came to the table with no money but military background. Well, I guess the military background had enough prestige, and together they've made a very powerful and successful couple in American politics and life. No, yeah, it's all about the Benjamins with Meghan, my father, McCain. Totally. Word is he only married McCain because her father was dying. Oh gosh. Oh, and when her father did die, by the way, she used his funeral to push her book. She put her book on his grave. Like that's how cold. Like, girl, has your inheritance money been cut off? Phew. Okay, let's move on to the next. I just wanted to get through some of your comments. On to another hater who we haven't talked about for a while, but I believe as we move closer to Harry's trial, we will probably talk about him some more. And hopefully in the context of him getting dragged and getting his karma. So, Piers Morgan to leave Rupert Murdoch's News UK in deal over YouTube venture. Now, remember, um, Murdoch poured how much into Piers Morgan when their deal was first signed? I mean, there were posters all over London, um, promoting him on Talk TV. It was a huge thing. Oh, it was a 3-year multimedia deal worth a reported 50 million. Now, the Telegraph just 2 hours ago actually just posted an article saying why Piers Morgan can be Britain's answer to Tucker Carlson. Piers Morgan, it's interesting that they're comparing him to Tucker Carlson, who's an American talk show host who, despite being an absolute twat, is very successful. Piers Morgan couldn't be successful in the US. So them calling him Britain's Tucker Carlson, I mean, hasn't Piers Morgan trying to be Britain's answer to an American something for the last decade, and it's failed every single time. He fails forward because he always gets picked up by the likes of Rupert Murdoch. Anyway, so he is now in a deal over a YouTube venture. Mind you, YouTube money is not the same as, you know, TV money. Granted, viewership on TV is going down, but sponsors still pay a lot. And online media hasn't quite caught up with the money that you would see from TV. So the outspoken broadcaster's production company is to take ownership of his uncensored YouTube channel as part of a deal that will see it enter a 4-year revenue sharing agreement with Rupert Murdoch's UK subsidiary, Sky News can reveal. So prepare for more. I mean, it depends on how this court case goes, but yeah, prepare for more Harry and Meghan bashing and just the continuous cycle of usual rage bait that they do, hitting at minority groups, straw man arguments. Um, so Piers Morgan, the broadcaster journalist. Oh, is that what we're calling him now? Is that what we're calling him now? Sky News is leaving Rupert Murdoch's British Empire to focus on expanding his uncensored YouTube channel in the US and other international markets, underlying prominent media figures, accelerating shift away from traditional outlets. Mind you, some of the other US pundits in this space are struggling themselves. So, not really coming in at a good time. And it's also, the timing might just be a coincidence. I'm not saying that there is a link, but it's just interesting that this is all happening, um, leading up to his court case, although it would be coming up to the end of his 3-year deal anyway. So Sky News can exclusively reveal that Mr. Morgan and News UK, publisher of The Sun and The Times and owner of Times Radio, have agreed a deal that will see him taking ownership of the uncensored media brand and its existing 3.6 million strong YouTube subscriber base through his production company, Wake Up Productions. He is understood to have struck a 4-year revenue sharing deal with News UK that will see the Murdoch owned company receiving a slice of the advertising revenue. And now let's just wait and see what actually happens to Rupert Murdoch and his payouts for this court case and other impending court cases. And also, not just to do with the hacking and what's happening in the UK, also in the US. I believe there's another case with Dominion and the whole voter fraud thing. Mr. Morgan returned to News UK in January 2022 with a 3-year deal that included writing columns for The Sun, New York Post, as well as presenting shows on the company's now folded television channel, Talk TV. Y'all, the whole thing is folding. Let's just keep it real. And I think that Harry's court case is going to be just the final nail in the coffin. Now, he will also continue to write occasionally for News Corporation's newspapers, according to one publisher. Mind you, we still don't know if Morgan will get called to the dock. There's still a chance that that could happen. Mr. Morgan's future has been the subject of growing speculation following the inquiry of his 3-year contract with News UK at the end of 2024. As part of his new arrangements, Mr. Morgan has also signed a deal with Red Seat Ventures, a US-based agency which partners with prominent media figures and influencers to help them exploit commercial opportunities through sponsorships and other revenue streams. He failed in America already. He was literally handed Larry King's little black book. He interviewed Beyonce, he interviewed Oprah, and he failed then. So who on earth is stupid enough to sign him now? Piers Morgan is a sinking ship. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it will be interesting to see how this all plays out with the upcoming court case. They're going after YouTube because the viewership is wide. But like I said, this space is cracks are starting to appear. If you've got even people like Ben Shapiro, his audience coming after him, I don't think that Piers Morgan is going to fare well. Hopefully 2020, I don't think that Piers Morgan will get his karma in 2025. I think it will be in 2026. That's when his karma is coming. All right, next thing. So let's keep an eye on this one, because I feel like there's something a little bit more to this. And don't forget, Harry's court case is coming. Back onto our faves. Now, obviously, Guy passed away. I didn't know this, but There were actually two books based on Guy. I never saw this. It would actually be nice for Meghan to do her own book. But just so y'all know, if you didn't, because I didn't, and they're adorable. Look at the one with Harry on the cover. And remember, Guy actually rode in the car with the Queen. The Queen obviously loved. She had corgis, so she loved dogs. This is the interior. I didn't know that this had been written. They even talk about Guy being adopted. This one at the wedding. And this is just adorable. I hope Meghan actually comes out with something of her own. Guy the dog. Selling more than Kate's biography, by the way, by Robert Jobson. Hardy har har har. Legs, you said he couldn't break for the US market before. My guess is that he is hoping to troll during the Trump presidency. I guess that he is hoping to gain favor, but it didn't work last time. Yeah, that's actually another good point, Legs. I think that he's going to absolutely milk the Trump presidency. I think that's what it is. And you know what? He's going to be able to milk it. That's actually a very good point. I did not think of that. I think that's probably the News UK probably see this also. Murdoch sees it also. I think that everybody in that space, that right wing space, is actually going to have a great 4 years before it all comes crashing down. So you might as well just milk it for all it's worth, right? Thanks for making that point. Boney, you said after the NGN, Harry should sue them individually like Piers Morgan. Well, you would want for Harry to sue them, but you know what we want and how the law actually works and how you can win in the court of law are two different things. So I'm sure if there is, a basis for Harry to do that, I don't see why he wouldn't. But actually, I think the better thing would be if they can drag Piers Morgan into court, for a bigger court case like the phone hacking, as opposed to Harry dragging him individually for maybe things that he individually said about him or his wife. Yeah, the cartoon of guy is adorable. Like you can feel the energy, right? Great, great drawings by the illustrators. Lottie, I wonder how Kate Middleton's birthday is going. Well, they did actually release a picture of her today, a very casual looking picture with her wedding ring on. It was in black and white. Didn't seem photoshopped. I don't think they released anything last year, so I would have had a bit of a raised eyebrow if they didn't release anything this year, but they did. Thank you so much to Paula De Guercero for gifting 5 memberships. Much appreciated. And I do now actually have, let me just post it. I have 2 lower tiers of memberships now. But thank you so much for that is so generous of you. Thank you, Paula. Yes, I have 2 lower tiers of memberships now. If anybody wants to join, you can just hit the link that I put in the chat. You all are so generous. Is it still too late to say Happy New Year? But Happy New Year to say to you, Paula. Okay. Next thing, yeah, Megan's coming out with her cooking show, like many others have, and it's just insane. This much vitriol over cooking show, and also Netflix in other countries has been posting about it. So Netflix Malaysia, Netflix Korea. So it's going to be great for other people to actually get a glimpse of Meghan in a very different way. I do apologize. There was actually something following. I've skipped ahead a little bit, but there was one other thing that I wanted to mention regarding Murdoch's trial. So there is actually a crowdfunder going on right now with Hacked Off and Byline Times, who have been absolutely amazing. to get full and fair reporting of the Murdoch trial. And they have, I mean, I screenshotted this maybe 2 days ago. So that is going on. If that's something that you want to donate to, I think Bylines have really proven that they are willing to go where many others have not. They covered Dan Wooten, so brave of them. The journalists were targeted. They have covered the royals critically. They have covered the also how Meghan has been treated by the press, and also the ongoing hacking trial and the individual players, including royal reporters that are implicated in that also. So they have been very, very transparent, and I think they have definitely earned some donations. So they wrote on their site, how often do we ever get to see Rupert Murdoch's media empire independently being held to account? Later in January, one of those rare moments will arrive as Prince Harry and Tom Watson's case against the Sun newspaper's publisher finally makes it to trial over allegations of illegality, corruption, and cover up. Across an expected 8 weeks. Geez, I didn't even know it was going to be that long. Whoo! Whew, 8 weeks. We're going to be out here for 8 weeks, folks. Across an expected 8 weeks, the revelations which emerge from the courtroom are set to be explosive, especially as the trial will be taking place against the backdrops of calls by former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, that's Labour Prime Minister Gordon Brown, for a renewed police investigation into Murdoch's News UK. Y'all. 2025, Age of Aquarius, Lightside said it in the chat. And as the Labour government continues to reflect on how to take forward the post-Leveson press reform agenda, I don't really know if I would say that they're continuing to reflect. They've just decided not to take up the case any further themselves anyway, while a whole prince of the realm is calling for it and pretty much just getting on with business and giving us the closest thing to a Leveson inquiry, Leveson 2 inquiry that we're going to get, unless Labour grows a backbone. They want to score political points with the people. Labour government will call for another Leveson inquiry. They're a lot more likely, it seems now, to just toe the line, unfortunately. Anywho, with Murdoch's own titles highly unlikely to provide a full picture of what unfolds in the courtroom, and with the rest of the established press also reluctant to put their heads above the parapet when it comes to scrutinizing their own industry, and this was the problem with the initial phone hacking trial, and why I think people didn't understand the depth of it, because it just wasn't really reported on very well. Independent media outlet Byline Times and Hacked Off are teaming up to ensure that the Murdoch Empire's misdemeanors are recorded and reported to the world in full. We need independent and accurate reporting on this trial to understand and expose exactly what Murdoch's publisher has been up to. And with our expertise in media corruption investigation, Byline Times and Hacked Off are the only organization that can offer you unique insights. Won't argue with that, they've proven themselves. But we need your help to make it happen. So all the funds will go towards covering the trial day to day, reporting back on all the key developments as they arise. And of course, here at the Duchess of Success podcast, I will be relaying everything and providing all of the significant updates and context and clarity. So this is the link. Let's see how. Oh, so it's now at 11, just over 11,000. So bravo to Byline Investigates and Hacked Off. They're going to be giving us as much truth as they can, and I've got no doubt that a whole lot of things from what Harry said, explosive things, are going to come out. Okay, so Kate. Kate, it appears from this article in the Daily Fail, has been leaking, possibly with her mother. So this is from Celebrity. Princess Kate simply won't be going back to work in the same way as before. Work with the small W. By the way, here it is, if you've never seen it before. Before I get into this is Kate's first engagement after it was announced that she was engaged to William. She was tested, she was, while wind blew in her hair, pouring champagne on a boat. I actually remember this like it was yesterday, All those years ago, we had so much hope. Our eyes were dazzled by the sight of a new royal couple. Oh, how far we've come, and how many unexpected things have happened. Anyway, this is the work that they're talking about that she won't come back to. Um, there was a sudden rush to refocus everything on the Princess of Wales in recent days. It's exactly what I said last week. After the Duchess of Sussex rejoined social media and the Netflix trailer for With Love Meghan dropped, suddenly the royalists were screaming, "Don't forget about Catherine." That's a huge part of it. Although we also get an annual State of Kate update in January because of her birthday, January 9th. In 2022, she went way overboard for her 40th birthday, commissioning wall-to-wall coverage about how she walks on water and she is the best, most humble, and most perfect princess ever. In subsequent birthday briefings, she's had to reel it in. This year's birthday keenery comes via Becky English at the Daily Fail, who must have gotten a nice long sit-down briefing from Carol and the courtiers. And here are some highlights. So Kate's new cause, her ordeal over the last 12 months. She wants to put a greater emphasis on balancing family. I mean, that's going to be pretty easy when you have 60 butlers. That she won't be a full-time royal for a while. I mean, she's kind of always been a quarter-time royal, as has William. All this is why, even though she is making great strides in her recovery, we shouldn't expect to see the princess returning to full-time royal duties anytime soon. But didn't she say that she completed chemo last, was it October? And then we had the whole Herb Essences advert going on. There is no huge reset button that's going to be hit in January. I mean, it's actually pretty typical of Kate to disappear for the first few months of the year. Like, that's actually pretty normal. That's not new. What we will actually see is a slow continuation of the princess balancing her recovery and her public-facing duties. So what are the plans? In Kate's case, as well as the slow return to full-time public duties, there are no plans. Well, that's no surprise. I mean, it took, what, 6 years to come up with 5 questions about babies' brains? And you haven't heard anything about that project since she annoyed Jill Biden at that public meeting. So there'll also be more private meetings. Oh, so she's still doing early years. We're still focused on babies' brains and the first 5 years of a child's development. That's still her number one priority. We should also expect her at more big events, which doesn't surprise me because the big events are really the only thing that she likes to do. I think that Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace learned a series of valuable lessons which we can see playing out right now. The missing princess storyline did serious damage to the institution and as did the manipulated palace release photo, which caused an international S-storm. They learned that a princess going MIA for months is not acceptable to the public. But once proof of life was established, however questionable, people bought it and moved on. Yeah, so gullible, the public are. Basically, they learned that as long as they produce Kate once every few months, most people accept it and don't ask for much more. This has actually always been the case. It's only that we noticed it now because of Meghan's work ethic and Harry's work ethic. This has actually always been the case. There was a deal struck at some point in 2024, and this is the deal. Kate can disappear for weeks, even months at a time, but she'll show up every so often and a cover story has been produced, which the royal reporters dutifully fluff up. rather than examine. Here's one of my big questions though. Will Kate ever be allowed to go to a tiara event again as the Princess of Wales? Good question. Because if she doesn't, we know she's been benched. And that marriage is looking strained. It's looking as strained as Kate's grin. Anywho, I don't talk about the others that often. But I feel like 2025 is going to be a year of revelations. By the way, the busiest roles in a year affected by illnesses, 380 banquets. Now, I didn't know that there were that many banquets, but apparently 380 of them they went to. Such hard work. Great work if you can be born into it, right? Anywho, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. So, January, we've got beginning of the court case for Harry. Hopefully, the beginning of the end for Rupert Murdoch. We have Meghan's cooking show and possibly Aro. We have Invictus. We have Squaddy Hooks coming, which is going to be me and Rahini have been working on this today, and we're going to finalize stuff tomorrow. Hopefully, that should actually be live tomorrow. It's just me that's been dragging my feet because I'm balancing a million things. But that hopefully should be live tomorrow. And it's just January. And perhaps maybe karma coming for Piers Morgan also. Who knows? Okay, I'll just finish off with your comments and then we will call it a day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paula, for gifting 5 memberships. Very, very generous of you. Legs, she said, not that I care, but anyone noticed how both palaces were quiet about her birthday last year? They didn't want to draw attention to her not being around. Yes. No, I noticed. Anne Hall, Anne, what do you think about the reports of the kids not going to eat and breaking tradition? But for Marlborough, where Kate studied, I saw that article, and a lot of people were saying, well, Kate won the negotiations because, of course, the firm would have insisted that George especially go to Eton. That is quite interesting because, like Eton is the rule, but apparently Kate is very much against single sex education. Um, I think with them not going to Eton, she'll maybe have a little bit more control. But it is interesting that she seems to have won, at least in that regard. Or maybe somebody in the institution saw sense and thought, okay, let's not have a repeat. Let's try and do something different. I mean, I think it's still boarding, and it's still like a top-notch school, but it's not the culture of Eton. I think that's what Kate would not have wanted, especially for the boys. But yeah, I think that's it's an interesting development because I think that George and um, Louis, you got an heir and a spare, not going to Eton. Church Nelly, you said you mean no keening. Yes, Kate is always so keen. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Lady, you said, I believe that Kate is no longer part of that family. Well, if you read between the headlines, they're writing about her like she isn't. So folks, I'm just getting through your comments and then we'll wrap things up. Rahini, I will text you. It's very, very late in the UK right now. So we might have to do finishing touches tomorrow. But whatever it is, we'll get everything done tomorrow and make Squaddy Hooks live. Legs, I think the article about Kate winning is nonsense. The kids are not ready to go there anyway. They could still get their way when it is time. We should bookmark the article because there's no guarantee. There's also a chance that Kate's camp leaked that to the public, but it's actually not true. So, yeah, Sean Jones, she was probably threatening to leak what Lord Voldemort actually did to her on that cold night on December 28th. And we still don't know what that is. All right, Prudence, I'm going to end with your wise words. We keep the faith that we keep his enemies underfoot, indeed. Pray for Sussexes, pray for the world, pray for LA, pray for everyone's health and happiness. And I will see you in tomorrow's podcast. Ciao. I won't play the outro music, folks, because it's very, very late in the UK and I need to go to bed. Ciao.